Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today with a question that, frankly, makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It is the kind of question that usually makes me check my wallet or look for the nearest exit because it sounds like the setup for a scam.
Ooh, starting off with high anxiety. I like it. What is the question?
So the question is, can you rewrite your reality? And I do not mean that metaphorically. I
Hmm.
do not mean, change your perspective or look on the bright side or pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, can you sit down with a cheap ballpoint pen and a piece of paper, write a sentence, and physically alter the trajectory of your life events?
Right.
Can you write something down and have the world rearrange itself to match what you wrote?
It does sound like the tagline for a fantasy novel, doesn't it? Or maybe a late night infomercial selling crystals or quantum vibrations.
Exactly. It sounds like magic. And usually when we cover magic or manifestation on this show, we are looking at sources from, let's say, the more spiritual side of the aisle. We're usually talking about gurus, yogis, mystics, people who live in ashrams or on mountaintops.
Right. People who are already completely sold on the idea that the universe is made of vibes and stardust. People who speak a language of energy first and practicality second.
But that is not who we are talking about today.
Yeah.
And that is why I became kind of obsessed with this specific stack of research you sent over. We are looking at the methodology of a woman who is, by trade, an economist.
Which is a plot twist I definitely did not see coming when I first opened the files.
Right. I mean, she deals in supply and demand, hard data, fiscal quarters, spreadsheets.
Yeah.
She spent her entire life in a world where if you cannot measure it, weigh it, or put a dollar sign on it, it basically does not exist.
Yeah.
And yet she has developed one of the most rigorous, prescriptive, almost mechanical protocols for manifestation that I've ever seen.
It is really an engineer's manual for the spirit. That is the best way to describe it. It is not sit and hope the universe likes you. It is do X, then do Y, and you will get Z. It is strictly input and output.
So that is our mission today. We are going to deconstruct this economist's toolkit. We're going to talk about why she believes you need a taxonomy of notebooks. Yes, specific notebooks for specific feelings, which really appeals to my inner office supply nerd.
It is very satisfying.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about why she puts stickers, like toddler stickers, in her journals. And we're going to tackle this concept of writing the future as history.
And I think we need to drop a quick disclaimer here before we dive in, because the source material does go there.
Please, lay the ground rules for us.
So the materials we are analyzing today do touch on concepts like quantum fields and energy frequencies and codes. If you are listening to this and you are a staunch materialist, your alarm bells might start ringing right about now.
Yeah.
You might be tempted to turn this off and go listen to a deep dive about interest rates.
My alarm bells were definitely ringing. I saw the word quantum, and I immediately thought, okay, does she actually know physics, or is this just a metaphor to make it sound smart?
And that is a totally fair critique. But our goal today is to ground this. You do not have to believe in the supernatural to understand why this works. You can look at this entirely through the lens of behavioral psychology and neuroscience.
Right.
This is about cognitive restructuring. It is about how you program your reticular activating system. So if the woo-woo language bothers you, just swap it out for neuroplasticity and the toolkit works exactly the same.
Deal. So let's start with the origin story. Segment 1, the foundation. Or, as I like to call it, the economist's dilemma.
Yeah, this really resonated with me. The source describes a person herself who spent decades trying to logic her way out of unhappiness.
I think a lot of you listening can relate to that. I certainly can. The idea that your brain is a supercomputer, and if you just find the right algorithm, if you just think hard enough about the problem, you can solve the equation of feeling sad or being stuck.
It is the trap of the intellectual. She spent 10 years, a full decade, devouring personal development content. She read the books, she highlighted the paragraphs, she understood the theories perfectly. On paper, she was an expert on happiness. She could probably lecture on it. But in reality, she was still stuck in the exact same loops.
Why is that? I mean, why doesn't knowing the solution fix the problem? If I know how to build a table, I can build a table. Why, if I know how to be happy, am I not happy?
Because logic and emotion live in completely different zip codes in the brain. You cannot spreadsheet your way out of a trauma response.
Oh, yeah.
She realized that thinking about her problems was actually just reinforcing them. When you sit there and analyze, why am I so anxious? Is it my mother? Is it my job? Is it the coffee? You are essentially rehearsing the anxiety.
You're spinning the wheel.
You are spinning the wheel. You are strengthening that neural pathway every single time you traverse it.
You are digging the rut deeper. You are confusing worrying with solving.
Exactly. It is the hamster wheel. The hamster thinks it is running a marathon, but it is just wearing out the axle. So she hit a wall. She realized the spreadsheet approach was not working. She needed a new tool. And the tool she found, the one she pivoted to, was the pen.
Now, hold on. This seems too simple. Writing is the breakthrough. We all write. I write grocery lists. I write emails. I write Slack messages. Why is this different?
It is a massive difference, and the science backs her up here. When you type, it is a mechanical, almost automatic process. You can type faster than you think sometimes.
Absolutely.
It is a transcription of the mind's noise. But when you write by hand, it requires a different type of cognitive engagement. It slows you down. It engages the motor cortex, the visual cortex, and the cognitive centers simultaneously.
She talks about it in the source material as manifesting into the material world, which sounds poetic, but what does it actually mean practically?
Think about a thought. What is it? It is a synaptic firing. It is ephemeral. It is a ghost. It floats in, it floats out. You have 50,000 of them a day. But ink on paper, that is physical matter.
Right.
You have taken something that did not exist, an abstract idea, and you have forced it to exist in the physical realm. You can touch it. That sends a signal to the brain that says, this is real, this is data, this is important, pay attention.
So it is the first step of creation, bringing the invisible into the visible.
Precisely. And she emphasizes, and this is the organized economist coming out, that this cannot be messy.
Yes. This is where we get into the taxonomy of notebooks. This appealed to the organizer in me, but I can also see how it might seem excessive. She does not just have one notebook.
No. Most people have one catch-all journal, and in that journal, they write their grocery list, their angry rant about their boss, their dreams for the future, and their reminders to call the dentist.
It is a junk drawer of the mind.
A complete junk drawer.
Guilty. My notebook is a disaster zone.
And she argues this is emotional cross-contamination. You are mixing the energy of, I am furious with the energy of, I want to build a beautiful life. It is like washing your dishes in the toilet. You just should not mix those functions.
That is a very vivid image.
Yeah.
But I get it. You do not want the residue of your anger staining your dreams.
Right. She treats her life like a corporation with different departments. You would not put the janitorial logs in the CEO's strategy binder, right? So she separates them. Notebook 1 is gratitude. This is for high-frequency positive observation. Notebook 2 is creation or intention. This is for the scripting, which we will get to. And Notebook 3 is cleaning.
The cleaning notebook. This is the hazmat suit notebook.
Exactly. This is where the anger goes. This is where the mud goes. And by physically separating them, you are training your brain. When you pick up the gratitude notebook, let's say it is the pink one, your brain creates a state-dependent memory. It knows, oh, we are holding the pink book. Okay, switch to positive scanning mode.
It is a trigger. Like putting on running shoes makes you feel athletic.
It is a contextual trigger. It automates the mood shift. It reduces the friction of trying to force yourself into a state. The object does the work for you.
Okay, so we have got our stack. We have gone to the store. We spent too much money on fancy notebooks. We are feeling organized. Now, what do we actually do? This brings us to segment 2, the morning protocol.
This is non-negotiable in her method. And frankly, it is the part most people fail at because it requires discipline before the coffee even kicks in.
She is strict about the timing. She says this is not a lunch break activity. It's not a before bed winding down thing.
No, it has to be immediately upon waking. Eyes open, feet on the floor, notebook open.
Why the rush? I barely know my own name when I wake up. I usually stumble to the coffee machine like a zombie.
That zombie state is exactly what she wants to capture. Think about your brainwaves. When you are sleeping, you are in delta or theta, deep subconscious restorative dream state. When you are wide awake and stressed at work, calculating spreadsheets, you are in beta, high alert, fast frequency.
The get things done mode.
Right, but that window right when you wake up, that groggy, half-asleep feeling where the dream is still fading, you are bridging theta and alpha, your subconscious is wide open, the firewall is down, the door to the server room is unlocked, and the admin password is typed in.
And usually what do we do with that precious open door?
We let the burglars in.
We check the phone.
We grab the phone. We check the news. We see a Slack message from the boss about a deadline. We see that our ex posted a photo looking happy. We see a headline about the economy crashing. We let the outside world stomp all over that delicate, malleable brain state. We let their agenda write the code for our day.
We let their agenda write the code. That is terrifying when you put it that way.
It should be, because once you check that email, you are in reaction mode. You are playing defense. Your cortisol spikes, your brain goes into beta, and the door to the subconscious slams shut. The Economist argues you must seize that territory first. You have to plant your flag in the morning before anyone else gets there.
So the flag we plant is gratitude. But, and I have to play the skeptic here, gratitude journals are kind of cliche. Every influencer sells one. I am grateful for my cat. I'm grateful for coffee. It feels but it's soft. Does writing I like coffee really change my brain?
It can be soft if you do it lazily. If you just think it while brushing your teeth, it does nothing. It is just mental noise.
Yeah.
She demands you write a full page.
A full page every morning. That is a lot of gratitude.
It is about volume for a reason. The first 3 lines are easy. Grateful for home, grateful for health, grateful for dog. Fine, surface level. But line 15, line 20, you run out of the obvious stuff, you have to start hunting. You have to look around the room. I am grateful for the way the light hits the floor. I am grateful that this pen writes smoothly. I am grateful for the silence.
You are forcing the brain to scavenge for good news.
You are priming the reticular activating system.
Okay, unpack the RAS for us. We hear this term a lot in pop psychology.
So the RAS is a bundle of nerves at your brainstem that acts as a filter. It is the bouncer of your brain. Your brain is bombarded with millions of bits of data every second. Sight, sound, sensations. If you paid attention to all of it, your brain would melt. So the RAS decides what gets in and what gets ignored.
Like the red car effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. Did everyone buy a red car on Tuesday? No, they were always there. Your RAS just decided red cars are important now, let them through the filter. By forcing your brain to hunt for gratitude for 20 minutes every morning, you are giving the bouncer a new set of instructions. Let the good stuff in, spot the positive, ignore the noise. You are calibrating your filter for the next 12 hours.
So you are not just writing a list, you are tuning your radio frequency.
Yes. If you tune to Gratitude FM in the morning, you will hear good songs all day. If you check social media first, you tune to Doom FM, and you will find things to be angry about all day. It is attention management.
There is another concept she pairs with this, which I found much more profound than standard gratitude, and that is the concept of Kabul.
Yes. Acceptance.
Because, let's be real, sometimes life sucks. Sometimes you wake up and your basement is flooded or you have the flu. And trying to be grateful that your basement flooded feels delusional. It feels like lying.
That is toxic positivity. Everything is great, good vibes only when your house is burning down. That is denial. That leads to a psychotic break. Kabul, or acceptance, is different. It is looking at the flooded basement and saying, I accept that this is happening.
It is dropping the resistance.
Resistance is exhausting. Standing there screaming, why is this happening to me? This is not fair. I should not have to deal with this. That burns a massive amount of energy, and it solves absolutely nothing. The basement is still wet.
Still wet.
Acceptance says, okay, this is the reality. The basement is wet. I am here. Now what do I create from here? It stops the energy leak.
So it moves you from a defensive posture, fighting reality,
Yeah.
to a creative posture, dealing with reality.
Exactly. You cannot change what you refuse to look at. Acceptance is the prerequisite for change. So the morning protocol is shield the mind, prime the filter with gratitude, and plug the energy leaks with acceptance.
And once you are armored up, you are ready for the fun part, the part where we actually start rewriting the script. Segment 3, the creation notebook.
This is where things get really fun, and honestly, where the economist background makes the technique so fascinatingly rigid.
The core technique here is the tense shift. This is the golden rule of her method. You never ever write what you want.
Never. I want is a forbidden phrase. It is a dirty word in this methodology.
Explain that. Because if I want a promotion, why can't I write, I want a promotion? That seems honest.
Because the subconscious is a literalist. It is like a genie that gives you exactly what you say, not what you mean. If you say, I want a promotion, the subconscious says, okay, acknowledged. You are in a state of wanting a promotion. I will maintain that state. I will make sure you continue to want it.
So I stay in the waiting room. I stay in the state of lack.
Forever. Wanting implies separation. You only want what you do not have. If you are holding an apple, you do not say, I want an apple. You say, I have an apple. So by affirming the want, you are affirming the lack.
So how do we hack this? How do we trick the genie?
The tense shift. You write in the past tense. or the present continuous. You do not write, I want to be a keynote speaker. You write, I gave an incredible speech today. I am walking off the stage to a standing ovation. I am holding the contract in my hand. It happened. I lived it.
You are writing history before it happens.
You are planting a false memory, and this is where neuroscience gets really trippy. The brain has a very hard time distinguishing between a vivid, multisensory visualization and a real memory.
Really?
Yes, if you visualize biting into a lemon, really visualize it, the texture, the juice, the sourness, your mouth will water, physically.
The body reacts to the thought as if it were a physical object.
The body reacts to the data, and to the brain, the visualization is data. So when you write, I am a successful author in the past tense, and you engage the senses, you are building the neural architecture of a person who is already that thing.
Wow.
You are telling your brain, we have done this, this is who we are, and the brain starts to reorganize your behavior to match that identity.
You mentioned engaging the senses. She is really specific about this, too. It is not just writing I am rich over and over like Bart Simpson on a chalkboard.
I am rich is boring. The brain sleeps through that. It is abstract. What is rich? Is it a number? A pile of gold. It is too vague. She talks about high bandwidth visualization.
High bandwidth. I like that.
She gives this example of a speech she wanted to give. She did not just write it went well. She wrote, I am wearing my favorite black dress. I can feel the heat of the spotlight on my left cheek. I can smell the stale coffee from the conference table in the back of the room. I feel my heart fluttering, but in a good way. I hear the applause.
Sight, sound, smell, touch, inner feeling.
It makes the signal 3D. If you just use words, it is a sketch. It is low bandwidth. If you use senses, especially smell and touch, it becomes an IMAX movie. And the brain pays attention to the IMAX movie. It creates a stronger neural imprint.
Okay, I have to bring up the stickers, because this is the point in the research where I literally laughed out loud. We have this serious economist writing these powerful I am statements.
Yeah.
And then she puts a sparkly star sticker next to it.
And maybe a smiley face.
Yeah.
And uses a purple glitter pen.
Why? Is she just having fun, or is there a strategy there? Because if I saw a CEO doing that in a board meeting, I would have questions.
Ideally, you should have questions. That is the point. It disrupts the serious, skeptical adult critic in your head. Think about who inside you doubts your dreams.
The adult, the realist, the one who pays the taxes and knows the odds.
The internal critic, the risk manager. That voice says you cannot be a speaker, you have a stutter, you cannot be rich, you are in debt. That voice is an adult. It is trying to protect you from disappointment. But who is the part of you that dreams? Who is the part that believes in magic?
The kid, the one who thinks they can fly if they jump off the couch hard enough.
The inner child. Children doubt nothing. Children pretend, and when they pretend, it is real. When a kid plays the floor is lava, the floor is lava. They do not doubt it. By using stickers, colors, and emojis, she is sending a visual signal to her psyche that says, this is play, this is a game.
It distracts the bouncer.
It bribes the bouncer with a lollipop. It disarms the skeptical adult. The adult looks at the stickers and says, oh, this is just silly kid stuff. I do not need to analyze this. And while the adult is distracted, the message, I am a queen, slips straight past the defenses and into the subconscious.
That is deviously smart. It creates a permission structure to believe.
It creates a bypass around the resistance mechanism.
And does it work? Because we have a story in the file, the Queen story, that is honestly hard to explain away as coincidence. This was the proof point that made me sit up.
It is the proof of concept case study. It is remarkable.
Walk us through it.
So it is January. She is in her creation notebook, and she decides she wants to step up her public speaking game, but she does not write, I want to speak more. She adopts an archetype. She writes, I am a queen. I am shining on stage. I am recognized as a queen.
A queen. Not a speaker, not an expert, a queen. That is a very specific, very loaded word.
It is a specific energy, sovereignty, grace, power, authority. She focuses on this identity. She scripts it. She feels it. She probably used a crown sticker. 2 months later, February or March, she gets an invitation to speak at a major event. And she looks at the flyer for the event, the title of the conference.
Do not tell me.
The branding of the event used the word queen, literally. She was invited to speak at a queen-branded event. She was standing on stage, effectively being crowned, just as she had written.
Okay, skeptic's hat on again? Coincidence? Or did she just notice the event because she was primed for it?
Maybe both. Maybe she carried herself differently because she was rehearsing queen energy every morning. Maybe she spoke with more authority, so people treated her with more authority. Maybe the RAS spotted the email because queen was a keyword in her brain. Or maybe there is a non-local aspect to consciousness where the inner world influences the outer world.
The spooky action at a distance.
Whichever explanation you choose, psychological or mystical, the result is the same. She wrote the script, and life acted it out.
Specificity plus emotion equals speed.
That is the formula.
But life is not always queen energy. Sometimes life is just someone cutting you off in traffic and flipping you the bird. Or a client firing you. And this brings us to the part of the methodology that I think actually matters the most. The dirty work. Segment 4, the detective.
Yes, because you cannot sticker book your way out of genuine rage.
If I'm furious, and I try to write I am happy with a smiley face, I am going to want to stab the notebook with the pen.
And you should. That is repression. If you just paint over the rust is still there eating the metal. She is very clear. You cannot just stick a smiley face on a real problem. That is suppression, not transformation.
She called it processing the mud.
Yes. If you just ignore negative emotions, they fester. They go into the shadow. They come out sideways as back pain or anxiety or passive-aggressive comments. The economist applies her analytical skills to her own triggers. She does not just feel them, she dissects them.
So let's walk through the disassociation technique. The host in the source asks, what about when I am furious? What do I do?
The first step is the hardest. Stop. Do not react externally. Do not honk the horn. Do not send the angry email. Do not snap at your spouse. You have to freeze the reaction. This requires immense mindfulness.
Then you open the cleaning notebook. This is the third notebook.
And here's the linguistic magic again. She insists, do not write, I am angry.
Why? That feels like the truth. I am angry.
It feels like the truth, but it is a linguistic trap. When you write, I am angry, you are using the verb to be. You are identifying your entire being with the emotion. You are making anger your identity. I equals anger. That makes it very hard to let go of because you are letting go of yourself.
So what does she suggest?
She says to write, the emotion I am feeling is anger.
That is a small change, but I can feel the distance it creates.
It creates a gap between the observer, you, and the object, the emotion. It is disassociation in a healthy way. I am the sky. The anger is just a cloud passing through. The sky does not become the cloud.
So once you have identified the cloud, you do not just watch it float away. You interrogate it. You become a detective.
Right. You ask, why am I feeling this? And not just the surface reason. The surface reason is, that guy cut me off. That is the trigger, not the cause.
The source says the current person, the guy in traffic, the rude barista, is just an actor.
They are cast members in the play of your life, hired to push a button that was installed years ago. The method asks you to trace the feeling back. When have I felt this injustice before?
And usually it goes back to childhood. I felt this when my brother got the bigger slice of cake. I felt this when my teacher did not call on me. I felt this when my dad did not listen to my story. It is about not being seen, not being heard, not being valued.
Exactly. The traffic incident is just an echo of that original wound. The inner child is screaming, I am not important. See me, the guy in the BMW cutting you off is just waking up that 5-year-old inside you.
So once you find the root, I felt ignored, what do? You do not just wallow in it.
You rewrite it. This is the alchemy. You mentally thank the actor, the guy who cut you off, for revealing the wound. You say, thanks for showing me that I still have a sore spot here. I thought I healed that, but clearly I have not. And then you write the opposite truth in your notebook.
You write, I am seen, I am valuable, I create my own space, everyone respects me.
You reprogram the software. You replace the corrupted file, I am invisible, with the corrected file, I am seen. And because you are writing it down, you are physically encoding this new truth. You are transforming the lead of negativity into the gold of wisdom.
It really is like data management for the soul. You find a bug, you trace the code, you patch it.
And doing this prevents the loop from repeating. If you heal the wound of not being seen, you stop attracting situations where you are not seen. You stop needing the actors to remind you of it. You fire the actor.
You fire the actors. I love that. You do not need the drama anymore because you learned the lesson.
Precisely. You graduate from that class?
Now let's talk about segment 5, the duration and discipline. Because this sounds like work. This is not a one-and-done thing. You do not just write, I am a queen once and retire.
No, it is not a pill. You cannot just take it once. The source mentions the 21-day rule, which is a classic standard for habit formation. It takes about 3 weeks to break a neural pathway and form a new one.
But the subject emphasizes that this is a lifestyle. She writes even on her worst days.
She says, even on the morning after my worst night, I wrote gratitude. That is the discipline. It is easy to be grateful when things are going well. It is easy to write, I am wealthy when you just got paid. It is transformative to be grateful when things are falling apart. That is when the shield is most necessary. That is when you are actually building the new muscle.
It is like going to the gym. You do not get strong by lifting the light weights. You get strong by lifting the weight that feels heavy.
Exactly. The bad days are the heavy weights.
She also talks about an external detox. To make this work, she had to cut out the noise.
This goes back to the idea of protecting the subconscious. She stopped watching dramatic TV shows. She stopped gossiping. She stopped worrying about what her neighbors were doing.
I found the comment about gossip really interesting. We often think of gossip as a harmless social bonding thing. Did you hear about Susan? But she treats it like a toxin.
Gossip is focusing your creative energy on someone else's reality, usually in a negative or judgmental way. It lowers your frequency. If you are judging others, you are subconsciously fearful of being judged yourself. It keeps you in a low vibration state. By cutting that out, she reclaimed all that mental bandwidth for her own script.
It is selfishness as a virtue, filling your own cup first.
If you want to be a queen, to use her term, you have to rule your own kingdom first. You cannot be peeking over the castle walls to see what the other kingdoms are doing wrong. You have to focus on your own abundance, your own court, your own laws.
I love that image. Mind your own kingdom.
Exactly. It is about energetic sovereignty.
So we have got the notebooks, the morning routine, the detective work. We have the discipline. But the source material ends with something quite beautiful.
Yeah.
A specific guided visualization. And I want to walk through this because it felt different from the rest. The rest was very active, writing, analyzing, thinking, restructuring. This was about support.
Yes, this is the back support method. It is a meditative practice designed to foster a sense of safety.
Let's break it down for our listeners. If you are driving, obviously do not close your eyes, but you can visualize this later. Step 1, posture. She says, sit up straight. Do not lie down.
Lying down signals sleep to the brain. Sitting up signals alert relaxation. It keeps you present. You are dignified. You are sitting like a royal.
Step 2 is the scan. Relaxing the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders. Standard stuff.
Yeah.
But then she visualizes a light.
A light moving from the head, down to the heart, down to the feet, and anchoring into the earth. Grounding is essential here. You do not want to be a floating head. You want to be connected to physical reality.
Then focus on the heart, maybe placing a hand there. But here is the key image, the back support.
This is the most powerful part of the visualization. She asks you to imagine a holy hand or a divine presence physically resting on your back, right between the shoulder blades.
Why the back?
The back is where we carry our burdens. We talk about carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. The back is our blind spot, is where we feel vulnerable. You cannot see what is behind you. By visualizing a supportive hand there, you are physically signaling to your nervous system, I have backup. I am not alone. Someone has my back.
And the instruction is to let the burdens flow out of your back into this hand.
It is a release valve. I do not have to carry this. I can hand it over. Whether you call it God, the universe, or just your higher self, the feeling is the same. Trust. Safety.
And when you feel safe, you stop fighting. You stop resisting.
Mm.
And that brings us back to Kabul. Acceptance.
It completes the circle. You write your script, you do your detective work, you act as the CEO of your life, but ultimately you trust that you are supported. It balances the hustle of writing with the surrender of faith. It prevents the process from becoming just another stressful to-do list.
It is a really holistic system. It is logic meets magic.
And that is why it works for her. It satisfies the logical brain with structure, the notebooks, rules, timelines, but it feeds the spiritual hunger with meaning, connection, and ritual.
So let's summarize the stack for our listeners who might be rushing to the stationery store right now.
The stack is threefold. Number 1, the shield. Morning gratitude and acceptance. Do it first thing. Protect your mind before the world gets in. Prime the RAS.
Right.
Number 2, the script. Sensory creation. Write the future in the past tense or present continuous. Use stickers. Engage the inner child. Be specific.
And number 3?
The cleaning. Emotional detective work. Do not react, analyze. Separate the emotion from the identity. Rewrite the wound into wisdom.
And so what here? Why does this matter?
It matters because it moves manifestation from a passive hope, I hope good things happen, to an active discipline. It turns it into an administrative task for your life. It empowers you to be the author, not just a character in a story written by your past traumas or your current circumstances.
The showrunner?
You are the showrunner, the scriptwriter, and the lead actor, and you have the budget.
I love that. And here's where it gets really interesting for me, the final thought to leave you with. The source mentioned something passingly that stuck with me. She said that eventually, the writing becomes faster than the reality.
Hmm.
You get so good at writing the script that reality actually rushes to catch up with you.
Like the lag time decreases. The gap between I wrote it and I lived it shrinks until it almost disappears.
So here's my challenge to you, listening right now. If you started writing the script of your life today, right now during your next coffee break, as if it had already happened, how long would it take for your reality to get the memo?
That is a provocative question.
Go buy a notebook. Try the past tense exercise. I enjoyed my coffee, I felt calm, I received good news. Just try it for one day. See if reality starts to rhyme with your writing.
It is a low-risk, high-reward experiment.
Exactly. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We will see you in the next one.
Keep writing.